This video started off with me trying to teach myself how to paint EcoPour with acrylic paints, but along the way it became this magical glowing dandelion lamp, and this might just be my favourite make yet. So I've already measured out 50 grams of Apex EcoPour and 15 grams of water, and I mix that up until my hand feels like somebody else's. Which made me think, would this actually work in the Resin's Duel electric mixer? But anyway, that's one for a whole new video. So now this is thoroughly mixed, I'm adding it into this little rabbit cottage mould. And what surprised me the most was that it was exactly the right amount that I needed, which I don't think has ever happened to me before. So the one thing that I will say about this Apex EcoPour is that I very rarely get any bubbles, but just in case there are any hiding in these details, I'm giving it a little tap with my fingers. Now, is it just me, or whenever you give it a tap, there always ends up a little tiny bit less than when you started? So to bring this back up to the millimetre that it needed, I'm using some fully cured EcoPour pieces. Then it was time to grab myself a coffee and wait for this to cure. And only 40 minutes later, it was ready to be demoulded. Now, I'm no painter, and although I've worked with EcoPour loads before, the original point of this video was me decorating this piece using acrylic painting methods. And if any of my previous painting attempts are anything to go by, there's still a real chance that this could end in complete disaster. But I really like this mould, and somewhere between waiting for layers of paint to dry, the idea to turn this into something absolutely amazing come to mind. Hi, I'm Tony from Georgie's Gorgeous Gifts, and today I've somehow convinced myself I can paint. So I'm grabbing my 24 pack of paints plus a massive tub of black and white. Now, any sane person would start with something simple for their first attempt at painting EcoPour, but that's clearly not who I am. Rather than just use the paints I already had, I needed to mix up my own colour. My vision here was to create like a mushroom colour for the roof, but really I had no clue what I was doing. And instead of woodland cottage vibes, it was giving me more concrete pavement. So winging it, I added a little more white, which didn't really fix it, it just became a lighter grey. So I pretend like I actually know what I'm doing and added a tiny touch of brown, and somehow that actually fixed it. And being somebody who usually needs a colour wheel to make pink, I was quite impressed with myself. After my previous success, I decided to run with it and mix my own cream colour too. I'm starting with some white, a little bit of yellow and a tiny bit of mustard. But this was still looking a bit yellow. The brown worked last time, so why not try it again? And I don't know how, but it worked and gave me the exact colour that I was after. But before even starting this, I was regretting using such a detailed mould. But as I'm not one for giving in, I'm just going for it. For the first layer on the roof, I watered the paint down slightly and brushed it all into the tiny grooves and details. And as I was painting this, I genuinely wondered why I hadn't tried this before. Then it clicked. My brain just hasn't got the patience for doing stuff like this. This was only the first layer, and I was bored already. So to try and at least gain some knowledge before attempting to paint this, I did watch some videos from the lovely Lula at Nerd Goblin Art. Because when it comes to painting, that woman's got some serious skills. So I'm using some of the tips and techniques that I've learned watching some of her videos. But if I thought painting that roof was bad, that was nothing compared to these walls. Trying to go round all these details made me feel like I was in some craft Krypton Factor challenge. The Krypton Factor, that programme was awesome, and as a kid my main ambition was to get one of those crystal ball things. Most kids dream of being a pilot or a fireman. No, not me, I just wanted to be on the Krypton Factor. Anyway, I switched over to a smaller paintbrush and it made this a lot easier. So far so good, but now I had to leave everything to dry before I could put on the next layer. And that would have been all good, if patience was actually something I possessed. So to cheat slightly and speed things up, I grabbed my heat gun and gave everything a quick blast. Once it was fully dry, I needed to try and bring these details to life. So slowly, and it was slow, layer by layer, I continued building up the colours until I was finally happy with how it was looking. So rather than just me waffling, pretending like I know what I'm on about, I'm just going to leave you with some music so that you can watch the whole process.
Glitter swirls in colors that glow. Georgie's Gorgeous Gifts is the place to go. Hit that subscribe, hit that like. Let's craft the day and light the night. Georgie's Gorgeous Gifts, run by Tony, it's true. We're making magic just for you. Pour the resin smooth and slow. Watch it sparkle, watch it flow. Tutorials bright like a morning sun. Stick around, the fun's just begun. One click away, it's all right here. Creativity's calling loud and clear. Hit that subscribe, hit that like. Let's craft the day and light the night. Georgie's Gorgeous Gifts, run by Tony, it's true. We're making magic just for you.
I hope you wasn't as bored watching that as I was actually doing it. But by slowly adding extra layers and shading around the piece, it's built up a lot more depth and detail. I was quite proud of myself at this point because it was really starting to look so much better than I expected it to. Although I was happy with the piece, I really didn't like how white those rabbits were. It looked a bit out of place. Using a dry brush and a minimal amount of paint, I just went over these in a light grey. And I think that's just what this piece needed. So okay, this definitely isn't perfect, and I had absolutely no idea that what I was about to do to it would change this look into one of my most favourite makes I've ever made. And it all started with a dandelion from my garden that's been drying for over a week. Now that it's dry, there was a problem. If I was to drop this straight into resin, there's a good chance that it would just fall apart. To strengthen it first, I'm sealing it, but I'm using some ultra strong hairspray. And even though I've got a tin of spray sealer, I still chose to use this, because in my opinion, this works even better. So I ended up giving these a total of 3 coats of hairspray, allowing it to dry between each coat. My next problem was that although I've worked with dandelions in resin before, it's always been in much larger moulds. I can already see that this is going to be difficult because all of these dandelion puffs are larger than the hole on the top of the mould. So first I had to mix up my resin. So today I'm using the Resiners Epoxy resin along with a range of their equipment. Some might say that there's enough gadgets here to genuinely concern a normal person, but if anyone gets it, you lot do, I'm sure. This has to be my favourite piece of equipment from Resiners. And after only 9 minutes inside the chamber, you can see there's not one bubble in sight. This is the easiest way that I've found to add dandelions to resin. So I started off by pouring the resin carefully down the sides of the mould until it was around a quarter of the way full. Now for the difficult bit, putting the dandelion in resin. And to make things worse, because I didn't stand them up while drying, they've stuck to the table, making the puff even bigger than it was before. And if I ever needed an extra pair of hands, now would have been a really good time. While I'm doing this, I'm trying to think of all the ways that I can hold this open and put the dandelion puff in at the same time. After a while, my patience was wearing a bit thin, so I gave up on being delicate and just pushed it in. And luckily, it didn't fall apart. So I'm using my paintbrush just to gently push this down further into the resin. To make this easier, the thinner the resin, the better. So now the dandelion was in place, I'm filling the mould up about 3/4 of the way full. The reason I'm leaving a gap is because I wanted to add this holographic flower film. I did try a few goes at putting this in, but it was way too early, because the issue I was having was the resin was dragging this film down. So after removing all the film, I waited about 40 minutes for it to thicken. It's at that perfect sticky stage, so hopefully when I put this film in, it's going to stay exactly where I put it. Hopefully this is going to look like the dandelion is growing out of this holographic film. And to make sure that this top is completely filled, I'm just using my stick to push the foil around the mould. Now if I can fill this without getting bubbles, I'll be well impressed. So without forcing it, I'm slowly pouring a little bit of resin into the mould and allowing it to be soaked up by all that foil. Trust me when I say it took absolutely forever to make sure that all the resin was in all the creases of this film. So right now seemed like a good time to put some varnish onto this cottage just to give it that last finishing touch. And with EcoPour, this is one of my favourite stages because the second you add the varnish, all the colours suddenly deepen, which makes all them little details stand out more. And after giving it one full coat, the difference is massive. But after 3 coats, look at that shine. This piece had suddenly gone from painted EcoPour to cute fantasy woodland cottage. It was finally time to demould, and my fingers were fully crossed in the hope that this had turned out exactly as I had imagined. If you've ever made one of these globes, you'll know how difficult they are to demould. So to make it a little easier, I'm using a micro brush to gently pry the mould away from the resin. So after adding some isopropyl alcohol and giving this a bit of a twist, I'm literally just giving it a bit of a squeeze, and look how easy that's come out. And oh my god, look at this. I mean, I expected it to be nice, but nowhere near this nice. So it was around about now that I knew that this piece could be really something special, and I couldn't wait to see it inside the cottage. And just like Cinderella's slipper, it fits perfectly, but it was still missing something. So the obvious choice was fairy lights. I'm hoping the lights are going to catch that sparkle from underneath the dandelion. Now, unravelling these lights. I don't know whether it's just me, but surely these shouldn't be that difficult to untangle. No matter what I do, I always end up with knots in it. Thinking about it, it's exactly the same as Christmas lights. You put them away perfect the one year, and when you come to get them the following year, they tangled into 17 different knots. I mean, how does that even happen? So the crazy thing is that I've unravelled all these straight, just to scrunch them all back up again so that they fit neatly into this pot. And when I replaced the globe back on the top, I was literally speechless. Which, let me tell you, doesn't happen very often. I mean, look how much that glows and sparkles. And trust me when I say that the video really doesn't do this any justice. It's one of those pieces I can't stop looking at and can't stop stroking. This video's actually taught me a few things today. The first being, I'm not that bad a painter. But the second one is that it bores me silly, so I won't be doing it that often. But I hope you've been inspired by this video. I've been Tony from Georgie's Gorgeous Gifts. Stay safe, happy crafting, and bye for now.
Wraps and bows and colors wild. Every gift makes hearts beguiled.